Welcome to the GHQ Crew podcast, where golf meets laughs, legends, and a little bit of chaos. Before we dive into our swinging stories and banter, a quick heads up. The views expressed here are entirely our own and do not necessarily reflect those of the fine club companies we represent. So grab your favorite beverage, kick back, and let's get ready to tee off on a wild ride through the world of golf and beyond.
Welcome to the GHQ Crew podcast. We're live where if you're going to do it big, you do it big then.
Let's go.
Huh?
Yeah.
Do you like that one?
I did.
Yeah, Jameis Winston, baby. Speaking of doing it big, we have a pretty cool dude here today. He's back for a second round. It's Brandon Darnold from Andrews. Or should we say Emmy Darnold's dad?
That's probably,
Is that better?
yeah, maybe so.
Okay.
That might bring more weight, maybe.
Well,
More credibility,
dude,
street cred.
yeah, a little more street cred. We were talking about how this morning you shared some stuff on social media, get some hype, right?
Yeah, I tried to drive something over here, but I don't think my Facebook and my Instagram is going to drive much.
Yeah.
GHQ podcast crew way, but Sis shared it, and
If Emmy shared it, we should be all right.
it should probably drive some,
All right.
quite a bit more than what mine will at least.
Everything good?
Yeah.
We rocking and rolling?
Rocking and rolling.
All right. What are you doing, man? You just came to see what's what?
Yeah.
I'm fixing the camera.
Oh, here comes Clinton.
Fixing the camera.
He's fixing a camera.
There you go.
That was sick. Okay. I think we're all set.
Hey, Jared,
Yeah.
there's a very important order of business before we get going.
All right, hit me.
It's somebody's birthday today.
Who would that be?
Look to your left, buddy.
He's trying to play it off.
See, you thought this was just like off the cuff. We didn't know. Happy birthday, bro. Put
Thank
you
you.
on blast in front of everybody.
Yeah.
You don't like birthdays? What's the problem?
No.
How old are you?
37.
29.
29. He good.
It's
man.
almost 30, cuz. Bodies.
You good, cuz. Listen. You get to about, as a dude, you get to what, 25, and it's like, whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It don't matter. But when you start getting into them 40s, like I am, oh, it starts to matter. You start going, oh, what was that? Oh, what was that? Oh, you know.
That matters, but
That's what you have to look forward to. You already got the hair thing going back. Oh, damn.
is that what we doing?
No, we ain't doing that. We ain't doing that. Listen, we're here to talk about Brandon today. Today is a great day. Clinton had to take some time off today, so we brought you in. We'll see how this goes.
Yeah.
I had to do the opener and screwed it all up as usual, but
I thought it was pretty good.
you thought I rolled good?
Just one little stutter.
Yeah. Okay. I thought I covered it great.
I think I've
really
already
did.
had 3 stutters, and it's been 4 minutes.
Yeah, well. So we're here to talk to you, Brandon, about probably a lot of people are saying it's going to be the greatest tournament of all time.
I hadn't heard that, but
No, man, tell us a little bit about what you did, because I think this is going to be awesome. You know, I love that we have Z here today because, you know, he's worked with so many of the kiddos throughout the region and so on, and that's really the heart of what we're doing here, right? So why don't you tell us a little bit about what's going on?
yeah. So I mean, this year is just this season of life, really, for me and my family, for Sis, is just a season of gratitude, and a season of gratefulness, appreciation for what the game of golf has done for us as a family, the people that it's connected us with, you guys and so many more, Doug Huckabee, Tamara. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on and on. of
Yeah.
all the great people that it's connected us with. But just, man, really a heart of giving back, right? Paying it forward. And so kind of the best way I know how to do that. Well, let me back up. So there's been a lot of talk of kids not getting recruited out of West Texas, out of the Permian Basin. And, why is that? And, I think there's some significant things of why that is. And one is just lack of knowledge of the recruiting process, how to get that started.
Sure.
And kids not marketing themselves. And so, back to the season that we're in as a family is giving back. And so the best way I know how to do that is just to pay forward the knowledge that we've gained through the recruiting process that Sis has recently gone through and I guess you'd say finished up. And but just trying to just give that knowledge. I mean, because really the real deal is you don't know what you don't know. And when we started this process, the December of her freshman year, we didn't know anything.
Right.
Like very, very little. We had went and shout out to the Escamillas because they had kind of done something similar to what we're going to do here. Mm-hmm. They had put on a golf forum and they held it at Green Tree and they had some.
That's the one Judy Rankin was at.
Yeah, Judy was there.
Yeah.
And that's another person that this game's connected us with. But so they'd kind of done this before, and we learned a little bit there. Sis was, I think it was the spring of her 8th grade year, so she's fixing to.
I was about to say she was young.
Yeah, and so we went we're thirsting for knowledge, right?
Right.
Because I felt like she was going to want to play in college. And at that point, I mean, she was doing well, playing well, but you just never know, right? What the future holds. But at least if you're getting educated and you know something, right?
Right.
So I did know a little bit, but I mean, not much, right? And so anyway, and another guy that's been connected is Artie Rodriguez. Like that guy helped. We got connected with him her sister's freshman year. She's playing with Riley Rodriguez, who's a baller, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
She's playing in Portland, Oregon, actually right now, today for Utah Valley University. So D1 school that she just, transferred to. And so anyway, he helped me a little bit because that's his second daughter that he kind of got into college on a scholarship playing golf. And so, but there was so much more that I learned on my own, digging it out of the mud basically. And so anyway, like the best way I know how to give back and to pay it forward is to just give out all the knowledge, that I've gained. I don't know everything.
Sure.
There's still a lot to learn, and I'm still learning. And it's ever changing too. But paying that forward and educating kids, and there's no shame in not knowing what you don't know, because who does, right?
Yeah.
It's about education.
I've been really putting the word out, and in fact, Ryan just texted me this morning. I think we got our technical difficulty there with your mic figured out, so all good
nice.
now. But
So
he was
we
like,
missed
"Man,
some
get
of
this man on the mic."
Oh man!
He said, "I can't hear him."
So I got to go back and we got to read.
We only missed like the very first.
Okay, yeah, so we're good now. But my buddy Ryan, his son Abbott is 14, and dude, this man went out, and I think Ryan told me he starts triple-double and shoots 7-7.
Let's go.
This kid's just playing around, and his clubs are about 2 inches too short. So we remedied that issue, but just the other day. But anyway, my man Ryan was talking to me on the phone the other day. I was like, dude, you got to get up here, or down here for him, I guess, and check out this event. So I'm assuming anybody that's got a high school player aspiring to go to the next level,
Yep.
or even is just curious about, hey, what is this whole high school golf thing about, is invited to this event. And what I told Ryan, and I think this is one of the coolest aspects, and there's a lot of behind the scenes things that you've done to really make this thing, I think, be very advantageous for everybody and really pop off. But you're actually going to have a bunch of college coaches show up, and correct me if I'm wrong, but we're going to have a ranked event that we're going to play in. And then the other thing we're going to do is we're going to have these coaches where they'll actually do kind of a forum to let parents and the kiddos know, hey, this is what we look for. Here's what you need to do, right? So on and so on and so forth. Is that pretty much the gist?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's, so, yeah, I guess I never did really get to what we were doing. So it will be a golf camp / forum on the first day.
Okay.
And so the golf camp portion will be the college coaches kind of running that. And what does a college golf practice look like? So there'll be some, skills, short game area, and then just whatever it is that those guys want to do. I'm going to kind of turn that to them.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're the experts, right? And then, we'll break for lunch, and we're going to feed these kids, right, and their parents, like, no big deal. And then we're going to educate them there at lunch. So we'll have those coaches there going through a golf forum, question and answer session. Them saying, this is what we want to hear when you're emailing us. We want to know, tournament scores, this, that, whatever. We don't want to hear this. Like, don't make this, a 10-page dissertation. We don't need that. We need the specifics, because these guys are busy and they probably get hundreds, maybe thousands of emails a day. Who knows what, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
So condense it. This is what we want to see. This is what we want to hear. We don't want to hear that, you shot 85 today because, you had an ingrown toenail, or, we don't, you know what I mean? Like, we don't want to hear that. And
on 9 I made a par, and on 10 I hit it down the fairway. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I used to be that guy a little bit.
You used to be the hole by hole guy?
Yeah. Yeah, because I don't know. I don't know if the ADD kicked in or what, but like I would just have I would start out just wanting to tell you about one cool shot, and then I would tell you about the par I made on the next hole, and then I'd catch myself and go, God, why are you doing this to this person?
because you get so excited about
Yeah, man. Hey, by the way,
reliving.
little side note, speaking of ADD.
Here we go.
Well, I broke that. Stand by. You know what? We're just going to let that hang. We're going to let that thing hang. All right. Here's... Huh? Pull it off. Okay. There we go.
Or that.
I'm just all over it today, boys. I'm all over it. What I was going to say was the swag, bro. The drip.
Yeah.
You like that? The drip?
I do.
Yeah. MSU,
Let's go.
come on.
Exciting.
Sis signed.
Yeah.
Well, official signing is November 14th.
13th or 14th?
It better be the 14th. You texted me last night about it. I'm going to be there. It's going to be a great thing. 13th. You're right.
Yep.
I stand corrected, as usual. But anyway, that's really cool.
Yeah, verbal commitment.
We've got a verbal commitment. We're going to make it official on the 13th, which is so freaking cool. I can't even tell you.
Yeah, it'd be good.
But I wanted to kind of pause for a second because we'll get back to the event, but I think Z can really kind of help share the heart of this, right? Because you played in college, right? So what was that like for you, brother? I mean, when you were in high school, obviously you wanted to play at the next level, but what did that look like for you? How were you able to get recruited, and was that just organic, or did you have to?
So I was I didn't know really anything about the process either. So I started off emailing a bunch of coaches at like schools that were far out of reach that I didn't know at the time, that I was like, oh, I think I could play there, right? And just schools that were unattainable. But I would also email schools at all across the country at different levels. And then I finally found a recruiting website that I signed up to. And then it got me in touch with a few coaches. But for me, what changed is like the day that Coach Poss called me is like the day I was like, okay, well, I'm done. This is where I'm going. I'm going to MC. But like throughout the whole process, it was a bunch of emailing, and it was hours and hours spent every week just trying to get somebody to just email back.
Right.
And it's very tedious, but like once you, like I'm sure they felt it, like once you commit to the school, it's like, it feels like such a big sigh of relief.
Yeah, but I think what's interesting too, man, and I know that you and I had talked about this a little bit, and I know that there's a lot of I know there's a lot of parents and kids that deal with this, man, but it's like, you're almost paralyzed because you don't know what you don't know, right? You don't know what to do next,
Where to
essentially.
start. Sometimes even where to start.
Yeah,
Like, how
exactly.
how do we even get going in this process? I mean, it's very overwhelming.
Did Pop know anything?
No.
You know what I'm saying?
No, nobody I was around knew anything about getting recruited.
Yeah,
Nobody. So like I actually Googled a template of what to say in an email that you would send to a college coach. And I just really copied that and then just sent that out. And then I would email those schools. I'd give them follow-ups after every tournament I played in, regardless good or bad, because if they're actually interested, they're going to find out anyway.
They're going to find it.
Yeah, they're going to find out the 85s
Yeah,
and 87s.
They're going to find them.
Yeah,
Sure.
So, like, just let them know. And then if they ended up saying they weren't interested, cool. I don't have to email somebody.
No big deal.
Exactly. That's fine. But the ones that actually stayed in contact and emailed back, that was pretty cool to develop relationships with those coaches.
Yeah. Yeah. So, one of the things that I think is interesting, right? And, I watched it with Riley. Obviously, I've watched it with Sis and, Christian back in the day a little bit. I mean, there's talents out there, right? That people are going, oh man, this player's, we'll use Emmy as an example, or, for example, for you on the guys' side, right? Emmy and Z are two good examples. Good players in high school, won some tournaments, so on and so forth, but still haven't had any calls. Right. And so one of the things I was telling Ryan about the other day on the phone, and I just think this is fascinating. I'm curious because I know AJGA has always been a thing, but AJGA events are super expensive, super exclusive, hard to get into. Once you get in, you better keep playing or you're going to lose a spot, right?
You
so on
have to,
and so on.
Like for some of them, you have to travel and qualify to get into the tournament.
Yeah.
They have a one-day qualifier, and then you can get into the tournament or not. I mean, you can just go there, and if you do well, you pick up some stars. It's like a performance-based entry, and so and I don't know everything about, because we hadn't played the AJGA too much, and I'll get to that in a little bit, but it's based on stars, right? So that's how you get entered into these tournaments without going through the qualifier.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, for years, that was like, this is years ago, but I know back in my day, I mean, if you weren't playing in AJGA, forget about Division I. That just wasn't going to happen.
Well,
It's almost still the same way.
I think it could be the same still.
Well, but talking with Ryan, and I shared this information that you gave me. I learned this from you just a few days back. And I don't even know if you knew about this. This is where I'm curious. I just think it's interesting. Which, by the way, before I get on to that, we're live. Right? So if anybody out there is watching and you have questions or comments about your kiddos, send them over. Brandon's here. He can answer a lot of them.
We'll do our best.
We'll do what we'll do what we can do.
Yeah.
But I
if
would
we don't know the
encourage
answer,
you,
we'll get it.
Yeah.
We'll for sure
I would
get it.
encourage you to jump in there and throw something at us. And I'm sure I don't know how to watch it, but Clinton's watching it and he'll let us know and we'll figure it out, right? So shoot your comments in there and do all that so that we can answer those questions for you. But here's where I think it's interesting, and this is what I told Ryan the other day. I was like, bro, you've got to make sure, like, I get it that the NTPGA is an example, is a very fun tournament, a tournament series, I should say, that a lot of the kiddos play in and so on and so forth. And they feel like they're doing good playing in that. And they are, I mean, from an experience standpoint, but you have to find the specific ranked events.
Sure.
Am I saying this right, Brandon? You've got to be playing in ranked events to get on the map.
Right.
And I'm curious, was that the same way when
Yes.
you were coming up?
Yes. So like,
And did you know that?
So like, if you weren't playing AJGA, the only other option if you were going to play Division One seemed to be like the Legends Tour at the time, because Legends Tour was, I think, to the same level as what TJGT is now. TJ has a bunch of tournaments and at different levels too, but like NTBGA, the All American Series, I think there was like a couple of those tournaments a year whenever I was playing. So even those, and you go to a Legends or TJ event, it's just not the same. It's just a different level of competition typically.
It's not as competitive.
Yes. And NTPGA versus those other ones.
Yeah.
Because like you would have all of the studs, the state champions, all that. You would have those guys at those tournaments.
At the NTs.
At the Legends.
At
and
the Legends.
At the
I
Legends
got
at TJ's.
Yeah, because Martin Board played in a lot of the Legends tours or tournaments, and that's where he kind of got his viewing was on Legends tour.
Is
that where he played with like Spieth and all that?
Scotty,
Yeah.
Spieth, Will, all those dudes, they were Legends tour guys.
Okay, so
And NTPGA guys too. I think some
For a small period.
Yeah, and growing up. But to that point, I mean, he's exactly right. But it's changed a little bit. But AJGA is still like the premier.
so it goes. You've got AJGA, you've got TJGT, you've got NTPGA.
Well, this is Texas.
Yeah,
So-
those are just Texas related.
So Texas related it would be, the top tier probably in Texas would be the Legends, and then TJGT underneath that, and then the South STPGA, they call that the Prestige Tour, and the NTPGA calls theirs the All American Tour. Now those are one and the same basically, but one's for South Texas, one's for
Gotcha.
North Texas, and but they're 36-hole ranked events, and
That's the key.
that's the key. You have to get in. I mean,
So AJGA is more of a national.
it is, and
organization.
international. You would be shocked
Really?
Bro.
at international kids that are playing flying from like Chinese nationals,
Wow.
flying to Houston and playing in
Wow.
Patrick Reed, whatever AJGA deal that is, or
Well, and Z, you got to play with some incredible international players. Okay. And please don't hear this as I'm throwing shade at international players, because I am not. The international players that we've had the absolute privilege of meeting over the years from Midland College and Odessa College are just
ballers.
ballers is a great word, man, and they're awesome people. But here's the other side to that, man. As as Americans, right? We're leaving a lot of kiddos on the table. A lot of our kiddos aren't getting the looks or the recruits, especially in the West Texas region, right? They've a lot of coaches just say, we just kind of slap it around, go find it, hit it again. But I would argue that we have some of the better skill sets because of our ability to play in the wind and so on and so forth. We've had those discussions. But my question would be, why is that gap now getting larger in terms of how many international players get to come play versus how many? Because I know we've got a ton of U.S. kids that are playing. Why are they not getting recruited? Why are the international players getting that advantage?
Man, the ones I played with were just better.
Yeah.
That's it. They were just better.
Yeah.
And I don't know for sure, but I think maybe coaches think that their work ethic is maybe a little better.
Okay. Interesting.
And it's like they have something to prove, maybe more so to prove because they flew across the world to be here.
And so
Sure.
they're
I
maybe
mean,
a little,
there is
little more
that side of it for sure. But I'm just also curious if it's because there's a gap in the knowledge, right? Is there a gap in the knowledge? Is there a gap in the, well, parents just don't know how to get their kid recruited? Or,
There
I
is
think
that.
this tournament's going to solve a few potential issues that we face.
Right. Well, I mean, West Texas has historically been under recruited, I would say.
Couldn't agree more.
And I would also say underserved in way of ranked junior events. I mean, that's just my opinion.
Speak to that.
You want to get me fired up? Let's talk about that. Like, let's talk about all the people that talk about Grow the Game initiative and those things. And a lot of times that's just lip service and a bunch of smoke getting blown, right?
You're trying to say that we're trying to grow the game in West Texas, but there's no ranked tournaments out here.
Yeah, we just offer just one-day NTPGA tournaments that are not ranked. And then, they had the S.A. Smith, which shout out S.A. Smith. That dude's from Andrews, too. He used to be the pro at Andrews. And you want to know what's cool about S.A. Smith and that event, which is now an All-American Tour event. It used to be just an NTPGA event. But that guy is the guy that kind of got junior golf started in West Texas. He would call these local pros and say, when are you having your tournament? Not do you want to have one, not when. I need a date. And so NTPGA, they're growing the game, but for little kids, you know what I'm saying? Like to start out. But once they reach, what are they doing for the kids that want to go to the next level out here? They're not offering anything. So, Sis and I, we drive 5 hours no matter where we go, DFW or South, to play in TJ or All-American Tour tournaments that are ranked. And so not everybody can go.
Well, a couple of our listeners have made a couple good points. So our man Chris Posey talked about how the international students seem to work a little harder.
Yeah.
And their practice and playing facilities are probably a little bit better too, overseas, and the practice they're allotted is better. And then you also see our man JC Ramirez talking about how the course closures around here are kind of hindering our kids and their possibilities.
Absolutely.
That's killing us. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more with that. Z, you would probably know more in terms of the work ethic and stuff that you witnessed, but my argument there would be, and I've said this a million times to you, but if Lucas McCubbin, who's one of the better players that I've ever known, and really your best buddy, if McCubbin was pouring as much practice time as you did, for an example, we'd be watching him on TV. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how good he was.
Man, I think you could still watch that dude on TV.
You're not wrong. I mean, he's really good. But I'm just saying, and that's not me dissing Lucas. I mean, he's an incredible player, but it's more talking about your work ethic and how hard you worked at it. And, I do think there's a lot of kiddos out there that work their tails off and, to Brandon's point, just don't get the reward because their parents can't drive them 5 hours, whether it's work related or, can't afford to go that far.
It's expensive.
It costs a lot of money to do this.
It's like $750 to $1,000 a trip every time you go out of town.
I mean, the tournament is $300 off the top, maybe $350, depending on what. I mean, that's before you ever put a drop of gas or diesel in your pickup, before you lay your head down on a pillow at the hotel, before you put a bite of food in your mouth. I mean, it adds up, right? And like you said, not a lot of people, first of all, don't have the time, right, to be able to go. And then, the money isn't, I mean, it's a big deal, man. It's, I mean, you're $1,000 easy every tournament. I mean, Sis played 15 tournament rounds this summer. And she played in some, hey, listen, we've got back to what this game has done for me and my family and the places it's allowed us to go and the people it's connected us with and those things. I mean, she got to play at Trump National, the Trump National Doral in Miami. Wow. Sick.
Yeah.
I mean, and I got to play there too. I mean, sick. What I'm saying is it's expensive, and it can be as expensive. You can spend as much money on this as you want to. Like,
yeah,
there's no cap, right? No cap to how much you can spend. I mean, you got a lot of money. Hey, get on a plane, go to all these AJGAs. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
not to diminish, but I don't think that, back to the AJGA conversation and all that, I think the AJGA carries a lot more weight, and maybe it carries more weight than it should in some aspects, right? Just because of this, what we're talking about, the cost, right? Not every kid can get to these AJGA tournaments. Not every kid can afford these AJGA tournaments. I mean, there's some kids here in West Texas that are ballers that are, I mean, sleepers in my opinion, that are sleepers nobody knows about. Why? Because they haven't played any ranked events. They don't have a junior golf scoreboard ranking because they haven't played enough 36-hole ranked events in a year to get that, right? So
that's a bell ringer, by the way, everybody.
Yeah.
The junior golf scoreboard ranking.
Yep.
You got to get on that.
You need to sign up for that. And then the AJG has their own ranking too, right? But it just seems like the AJ tournaments, and even the ones that are, as I look at the rankings, right? Like, and just hear me on this and don't misunderstand what I'm saying, because I don't know everything about the rankings. I don't even know how all the matrix work, right? But when I look at a tournament, or I look at a specific kid's ranking, and then I go, you can pull up a kid, and then you can see how many tournaments they've played in, and then you can pull up the results of that tournament. Then you can see the field of that tournament. They might have had a 50th place finish in this event, right? But it boosts their rankings up over, like, they may have just only played AJGA. There's some kids in there that I see that have only played AJGA events and have 0 top 25 finishes, right? And they're ranked higher than kids that have won Legends events, TJ events, those things. And you're like, why? Why
Fascinating.
Why is that? So the golf ranking world is still not perfect, right? Like, I mean, there's some things that I wonder. I'm like, what?
It's kind of like UT being number one.
Hey, that's
you know what I mean?
Hey,
like nobody understands it.
That's real. Hey,
yeah, they got the same messed up system college football does. It sounds like.
Well, we had JC chime back in talking about how, for one, like we talked about, some kids don't get the opportunity to travel, but two, their facilities are only open to them 1 day a week in some cases.
Yeah, I think
so. You get a sophomore that can't drive. Who's taking them?
I think this kind of goes back to what Brandon was saying earlier. Like a lot of people who say grow the game, a bunch of it is like lip service, like because it's all about growing the game till you get out to the golf course and you see 50 kids lined up across the driving range. For some, it doesn't bother some, but for others, they're like, "Why are all these kids out here?"
Bunch of old heads crying, and
like,
grabbing,
bro,
and
leave these kids alone.
Yeah,
they're just trying to play.
Yeah.
Leave them alone.
Yeah.
When we got Billy National overflowing with 7 different school districts, and we can only practice 1 day a week out at Hogan, like where are we growing the game with our competitive high school kids?
Had 115 high school students every week.
You want to talk about somebody that's all about growing the game, that says that and that backs that up? Billy Munn.
Billy Munn, you
go.
dang right.
I mean,
we've had Billy on here once before, and of course, Billy's in the shop at least twice a week.
Dude's a legend, first of all,
and no doubt about it.
And then as hard as growing the game, and as hard as junior golf, and like he doesn't just talk about it; he bees about it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he went out there, and what a lot of people don't know is that first T West Texas facility out there, Billy National.
is legit, by the way.
is so legit. It's insanely good. But he built all that.
Yep.
That was Billy Munn.
Called Crenshaw.
Yep.
Ben Crenshaw came down
Who?
to
Hey,
Midland,
where's Ben Crenshaw
Texas.
from? And where's Billy Munn from? Texas.
Texas.
Number one.
Well, listen,
Look at these guys. Haters.
listen.
Haters.
We ain't gonna get into that right now.
There will be some college football talk here in just a little bit.
There will.
Yeah,
Brandon, I got a question for you. How many like we said earlier, we know that there's a bunch of talented kids in this area. But do you feel like some kids don't get recruited, and it's not, it kind of goes back to the lack of knowledge, but do you think it's because they try to play at schools that they really and truly just, they don't have a shot at playing at? And then after they don't hear anything from those, do you think that?
Yeah, so you said something earlier I did want to circle back to. When you started the recruiting process, you were sending out emails to golf schools or coaches that you said were unattainable. Mm-hmm. Listen, man, I really, really believe in casting a wide net, right? And because when we started it, when Sis was a freshman, we were behind. I didn't know. Man, I thought we were early.
As a freshman?
As a freshman. I thought we're early in the game, right? No. 7th grade, kids are starting the recruiting process, and maybe even sooner than that. Like, I mean, very eye-opening, right? But back to the cast the wide net theory, right? You don't know how good you're going to be. Mm-hmm. When you're in 8th grade, when you're in 7th grade, when you're a freshman, do you know how good you're going to be? Hey, you may not be good enough to go play at University of North Carolina, dream school, Sis's dream school, by the way. You might not be good enough to play there when you're 7th grade, 8th grade freshman. Who knows? You might pop up your junior year and shoot nothing but 65s here on out and just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it just finally clicks. So I'm a firm believer in cast a wide net early and just keep emailing. That's the thing, is they can't talk to you until the summer after your junior year.
Was it like August
before
1st
your
or September 1st?
June 15th
Okay.
of the summer of your junior year is when college coaches can actually talk to you. When you send them an email, they can send you, I think it's one back saying, we got your email, go fill out our questionnaire, whatever. So do that. But keep sending them results, swing videos, tournament schedules, inviting them to come to your tournaments that you're playing, that is close to them, whatever. Just that constant contact is going to separate you from the other 1,000 kids that's emailing them that is not as consistent emailing them. And don't get discouraged. They might not ever email you back, but they might pop up. Like there's some emailing Sis back right now that we've started emailing when she was a freshman. They hadn't said anything, and then now they're popping up wanting to email. Mm-hmm. So what I'm saying is you just continue to update with your tournament scores, whatever. Like you just never know. And don't get discouraged. And after your junior, the summer before your junior year, if you haven't heard from them, just keep plugging along, keep emailing them. You just never know.
That wide net theory is so awesome, dude. And I think I couldn't agree more with you. I think that is 100% true. And here's what I would even argue with that. And it's interesting that you said they were unattainable, right? Well, at the time, it may not have been realistic, right? If you got in the game late, right, it may not have been realistic for you to go to, and I'm just going to use this school as an example, but it may not have been feasible for you to go to Texas A&M, right?
Right.
But send that email anyway, especially if you don't get anything else out of today. If your kid's in the 6th or 7th grade, start now, because Brandon's exactly right. But here's what I would argue. Think about this more as for your kid a tool for the goal.
Absolutely.
I mean, if your kid wants to go to Texas A&M because he's always, cheered for the Aggies for some unknown reason,
Can't imagine why.
it's all good. Send that email because that will motivate your kid to work harder, play harder, do all the things that he or she needs to do to get to that level.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying?
I think
it's a mental
driver.
shift for the
It's a driver.
kid. Yeah. Send that stinking email and do it over and over and over again, because here's the beautiful part. They can either say nothing, they can say no, but what if they say yeah?
Hot dog.
Huh?
Place to play.
Yeah, what if they say yeah?
Whoop.
Or what if they say,
All right? Gig them.
not right now?
Yeah. Or like Austin Escamilla, man. Kid wanted to play at Stanford. You ask anybody around the kid at the time, come on, Austin. Stanford? Come on, bro. Austin kept sending those emails. In fact, they got on a plane. They went and visited the place and got right in front of them. That coach looked at Austin and said, man, I can't offer you a scholarship because I'm full right now, but you can have a preferred walk-on status. I will do that, and you can play your way on this team. How sick is that?
That's sick.
He ended up at Rice,
Which is
which is still awesome.
no doubt.
I mean, it's still awesome.
No doubt.
But if he wouldn't have pursued it in that way,
You never know.
he never would have got there, bro.
That's right.
He wouldn't have played D1, straight up. If they
That's
would
right.
have pursued it with just that just intent, not caring if there's a yes or a no,
Right.
And
I want to add something that you just brought up. I want to point that out. The days of preferential or conditional walk-on status and walk-on, those days are done at the D1 level. They've gone to roster limits, 9 roster limits at the D1 level of men's golf and women's golf.
Did they increase the scholarships though?
It's supposed
'Cause it
to be
was-
full, right? So it used to be
4.5.
4.5 and 5.4, I think.
Yeah.
5.4 for the girls and 4.5 for the men. But now it's 9 scholarships, right? But
So everybody on the team.
but capped at 9 roster spots. So the days of walk-ons, I don't, not at the D1 level. I think those are done.
And
You know
there
what I'm
may be
saying?
a few schools that are still messing with it, but to
Maybe.
your point, man,
Maybe so.
you
Well,
can't rely on that. You've got to be proactive, right?
right.
I mean, that's what you're really trying to get at.
And figuring out what level, like once the time comes, once you get to your senior year,
Yeah, you should know.
you should know what level you can compete at.
Well, but here's a question. MC is one of the most competitive, if not the most competitive and prestigious junior college golf programs in the country.
Contending for national championships every year.
Every year. OC.
Contending for
Okay.
national championships every year.
There's this cool shift in golf, and I don't know if it's always been this way, but Chad Campbell went to MC. He's pretty good,
Andrews,
right? Andrews, yeah, baby.
finest,
Well, I'm just saying,
world
he
domination.
went from there and he transferred D1. What was old boy's name? David Wicks. David Wicks started out at MC, number 1 ranked player in the world, right? And ended up transferring to Division 1. My point is you don't have to go straight for Division 1. Hey, focus on getting in somewhere. If you're late to the game, focus on getting in at the junior college level. Play your tail off,
your skills.
transfer out.
Yeah.
Do
Let's
not
roll.
be ashamed to go to junior college.
Heck no,
Do
that
not.
is not a downgrade. And you know what? I'll tell you this. The same thing is happening in college baseball. I was talking to Mike Myers about that just not too long ago with his son Bammer. I mean, dude, the kid's a savant. I mean, he's unbelievable at baseball. So is his daddy. And then he became a really good player, a golfer, right? But anyway, that's kind of the new thing. They do this junior college deal, and then they transfer over to Division 1 or 2 or what have you.
What I love about JUCO, and I have a little bias because I did it, but you get experience, so you get to play. So you're not sitting on a roster that you're probably not going to compete on for a year or two anyway, right? So you at least still get to play, and also you get to find out, do I even like playing this sport at the college level? Do I really like it? Because you have an out at JUCO. You graduate and you go wherever you wanted to go originally, right?
Right, for sure.
I think that's another option. I think it's a really cool option for
And a viable one. I mean,
JMP, man. John Mark Peters. He's been on this podcast, brother. He's right here in Midland. Played at Midland College. I'll never forget the conversation John Mark and I had when he was leaving Midland College. He came by the shop. We were talking back in the office, and he tells me he's going to go to Northern Colorado. Is that right? Yeah. Northern Colorado, Division I in Colorado. And I said, well, JMP, congrats. That's awesome. Super proud of you. I want to prepare you for something. They're all good up there.
yeah, everybody can hit it.
They're all good up there. And you've got to be mentally prepared for that, you know? And I'll be honest with you, without the experience from MC and just jumping right into Division I, that would have been a big jump for him, dude.
Sure.
Going from high school to bang Division I, and oh crap.
Well,
All
and
these girls and boys can hit it a long ways, you know what I mean?
everybody can hit it at the next level.
Yeah.
I mean,
So anyway,
Well,
long
we have a
story
quick-
short.
We have
Go
a
ahead.
quick shout out for Z real quick.
Z,
John Baltzell.
There we go.
Josh?
Josh,
Josh. Oh, I'm terrible with names.
Andrew's-
Josh.
Andrew-
You're terrible at
Andrew's boy.
reading. You're not terrible with names.
Well,
You're
it
just
was
terrible at reading.
it was 10 minutes ago. Cut me some slack.
Okay.
Y'all been talking a lot. Anyways, Z, Josh Baltzell said you were lighting it up. You had it on lock on the NTPGA.
Is that true?
There was one year I played really good.
What did he Google this, or did y'all play together? What's the deal?
Me and Josh graduated 2013.
All right.
We played a lot of tournaments together. There was one year, it was 2012. I played in 7 tournaments, won 4.
let's go.
So that was a good year.
All right.
Hey, Jared, do you remember Carl Vlips, the junior player from Australia that his dad and him reached out to us back in like 2013?
Yes.
The kid. He became the #1 player in the world at Stanford and now is on the Korn Ferry Tour.
Stop it.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
Yeah. Another junior golfer that came through golf headquarters from Australia.
Nice.
That's awesome. Well, I mean,
That's crazy.
that's why I was so excited when you brought this, right? That's always been a big heart for us here.
Oh, I know it is.
Is we try to pour into every one of those kiddos, and that's honestly, man, that's why I wanted you here too, because you have so many youngsters that you work with, and some of them have stuck with you even in college, right, as they've gone off. But here's what I'll ask you.
Dang.
I just think this is interesting.
That means you're old.
Well, today is his birthday,
It
right?
is.
I mean, 2-9, baby.
Some of them even stuck with you. Now they're in college, about to graduate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, seriously.
How many of those players that made it to college did you think weren't going to make it?
To play at the next level?
Yeah.
Don't call him out.
Yeah, no names, no name dropping.
Because you seem like the type of coach that's like,
Keeps
if you
it real.
tell me the goal, we going to get there.
I won't say that there's any that I didn't think that were going to make it. There were some that were questionable about playing at the next level. They didn't know if they could or they should, or
Right.
And it was really late, and they were like, "I don't know what to do." I'm like, "Go play, just go play."
Yeah.
Because you like some of the best friends you'll have are going to be your teammates. But seriously, every junior that I've had that has wanted to play and has actually put the effort into wanting to play at the next level, they did. So like as in to different levels.
Yeah.
D2, D3, JUCO, like it's cool.
Listen, if you play at the next level, you're stuck.
I agree. That means you put the work in.
Yeah.
And, I'm going to brag on you a little bit. I know you hate this, but I think every junior player has to have some core things to get to the next level. And Brandon, as a father now of a commit, see if you agree with this. But I think number one, I think the players, every kid has to have somebody in their life at some point that says that they believe in them. I think that's number one. I think they have to have, it's one thing to have belief in yourself, but to hear that back from somebody that you look up to or that's teaching you or that's a mentor to you, to hear them say that they believe in you is a big deal. I think the second thing that you have to have is somebody that'll push you. And I think you do that very well with the students that you have. You take it very serious. In other words, like if they say they're going to come in and do this thing, we're going to do this thing. We don't halfway do it. So you push them. You know what I mean? And I think that is so awesome. And to watch you with those youngsters and to watch how they react to you, man. Like so many of them just, they can't wait to get here to work with you. And there's some days that they walk away probably going, man, Z got on my rear end. I've heard him a couple times. Like, he don't play around.
I didn't know you were here in some of those.
Yeah. I mean, but that's good, man. That's a good thing because it pushes them and it makes them know that, dang, this guy really believes in me and I don't want to waste his time. I don't want to waste my time by not working hard, right? And then I think the final thing is if you're going to play at the next level, you have to have a support system of some kind.
Mm-hmm. Oh man,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And if it's difficult to have that support, in terms of just knowledge of the game, there's some parents out there that we've talked to that just feel terrible because they've never played golf or they don't like golf or, they just whatever. And it's like, hey, y'all don't worry about that. You bring them up here. We got plenty of people that'll work with them and help you get to the next level. And I think that's what's so amazing about what you're doing. There's not anybody currently that I know of in West Texas that is an advocate to get these ranked events here.
Right.
You're doing that.
Absolutely.
I think you're creating an avenue for these parents to be able to get their children in the recruitment process and get this thing figured out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, my heart is to see these kids realize their dream of playing at the next level. And
or even to say, I can play at the next level.
Exactly.
Sometimes
Yeah,
it's not even a dream. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They don't even realize they can.
right, that's right. And I wanted to say something about somebody believing in you. It takes that, I think, first before you get that belief in yourself, right? Does that make sense?
A lot of times, yeah.
Does that make sense? Like,
A lot of times, yeah. Especially in this game.
yeah, in this game. So,
Because this game's,
man,
it can be brutal.
I played every game, every sport. This is the toughest and the hardest. But, yeah, man, just helping these kids realize their dream of playing at the next level. And what I don't want to see is for these kids to graduate and get stuck in West Texas working in the oil field, wondering what could have been.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like 10 years later, wondering if they could have played at the next level, right? And so, but yeah, as far as advocating to have ranked events out here, like I have pushed for that. I've gotten the TJGT to add some events out here in West Texas, which is huge in my opinion, and they need to be well attended, so they'll continue to offer those events out here, and hopefully add more to the schedule. But that doesn't have. I mean, it's a business for those guys too. And we talked about, it's expensive to get to these tournaments. Just think about the expense that knocks off to go play in a ranked event that's in Midland, or that's
for
in
sure.
San Angelo,
Lubbock.
or that's in Lubbock, or that's in Abilene. They already have one at Abilene, but
What about Amarillo?
no, they don't have any there. But I mean, you put one at Lubbock, you start pulling the Amarillo kids, right? You put one in Midland, well, then you pull in the San Angelo kids, the Abilene kids. You put one at Abilene, you're pulling the Midland, San Angelo kids. You may be pulling some Lubbock, and then maybe even from the DFW airport or area as well. So, but the events out here that they're holding in West Texas, they've got to be well attended. So they'll continue to offer them, and so they'll hopefully add some more, and that will decrease the expense for your kid to go play in ranked events. But this event, we're going to call it the Permian Basin Junior Open. It's going to be December 14th and 15th. It's going to be in Andrews. The entry fee is going to be $250, which is cheaper than a ranked event, which is also cheaper than if you went to a golf clinic, golf forum of this type too. It's going to be cheaper than that. So
And $250s for both
for
days.
both, that gets you,
And that gets you the coaches forum and all that.
and we're going to have some current college players there too that are going to be answering questions. And hey, this is what we experienced. This is what we did. This is those things.
Are you going to be there signing autographs? Are you going to be out there signing? Nobody
For
wants your
what?
autograph, bro.
Exactly.
Nobody wants your autograph.
But yeah, I mean, and we're going to feed them.
Okay.
And I'm still working out the details on, it's all still coming together somewhat.
Sure.
Got some coaches committed to being there. There's some other coaches that we've kind of played with dates here, and just trying to find out the right date that works best for all the college coaches to be there, because I want it to be, I've got some junior college coaches. Shout out to Walt at Midland College, and shout out to Brad Strachey at Odessa College. These dudes are all in.
That's awesome.
And these are two of the most prestigious, I don't know if that's what you'd say, but junior colleges in the nation. These guys are competing for national championships every single year. Both of these coaches have coached at the D1 level, different places. And so, legit.
They're ready to give you the blueprint, man.
Legit coaches.
Yeah.
Right? Don't turn your nose up just because they're at a junior college either. And that misconception, right, of junior college, that is largely a very huge misconception, because you've got some ballers that play there that are D1 players that are coming from across the pond, that the only reason really that they're at the junior college level or playing there is because their grades don't transfer over well to the D1. So they're coming, getting their grades and all that stuff in order, and then they're going to.
I would almost argue it's the avenue, or becoming the avenue, because of what you said with the limited scholarships and so on and so forth, and the team limits, but also because of NIL and because of the transfer portal and because of the COVID year, which this is the last year. Is that right, Z?
I think so.
This is the last year
I
for
thought
the
last
COVID.
year was, but and now there's every single year
Seventh year seniors.
They're
Come on,
coming up
man.
with some other way to use this COVID deal.
We got one on Michigan.
It is super
it's tough.
hard for these kids to get recruited out of high school already. With the COVID deal, that's made it tough. The transfer portal's made it tough. But this roster limit, when I said earlier that it's ever changing, the recruiting process is ever changing. It is ever changing. Now they've done the roster limit. So what that does, that trickles all the way down to junior college. So some of these, what I used to call Power 5 conference, which, D1 schools, some of them are carrying 14 kids. Some of them carrying 16 kids, 12 kids. Well, we're going to 9 roster limits. So what does that do? There's 3 or 4, 5, 6 kids that don't have a spot, right? So where are they going? They're going to the transfer portal. And then where are they going? To mid-major D1 schools, probably. Then if the mid-majors are carrying more than 9, some of those kids might be
D2
out too. They're trickling down to D2, D3, NAIA, junior college. It's ever changing. And if you haven't started the recruiting process, you're behind. And I don't care how old your kid is. If you're not starting and at least getting knowledge when your kid's in junior high, if you're not at least getting knowledge, you're behind.
I agree.
You absolutely have to be getting ahead of this deal. There's a ton of kids out here in West Texas, sophomores, juniors, seniors in high school, that are, can they play at the next level? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Are they going to get to? Man, who knows? Why? Because they haven't started the recruiting process.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a ton of juniors in high school that haven't even started. Like I said earlier, that are sleepers. Nobody knows about them. Like, these dudes are hidden gems, and girls too.
That could play somewhere right now.
That could go and play on somebody's roster right now. Z said it best. Mm-hmm. Right now. Can go and compete and play right now, and may or may not get that opportunity because they're so late in the game in the recruiting process. Why? Because they don't know what they don't know.
That's right.
And their parents don't know what they don't know. And there's no shame in not knowing that. No. I mean, there's no shame in that because no one knows what they don't know. But you've got to start getting the knowledge. You've got to start the recruiting process. If your kid wants to play or even remotely thinks that they want to play in college, you need to be at this event. Like, that's it. I mean,
Agreed.
You can't afford not to. That's what I would say. You can't afford not to attend this golf camp, clinic, forum, preview, whatever you want to call that thing, right? And this 36-hole ranked event, which will be played in carts at Andrews, just to get through. It'll be 36-hole continuous play. They'll be playing in carts, and it'll be to get through the day, right? December 14th and 15th. You can't afford not to get in.
Permian Basin
Junior Open. Yeah, and the
December
details on
14th and 15th, Andrews, America, Texas.
Yeah. And then
What time is it going to start?
it'll start in the morning. Like the golf clinic forum will be like 8 a.m. And
that's on the
Saturday on the 14th.
14th, okay.
And, just kind of just playing with some things. But it'll be check-in, and then meet the coaches. And then the coaches will go through, this is what a college golf practice looks like. Short game practice, some drills, some things. And here's the other deal. Even if your kid is not going to play at the next level, get them in this event anyway. It can't do anything but help your junior golf player. They're going to learn some skills. They're going to be connected with the coaches, but they're going to get to play in a 36-hole ranked event.
Well, and they may learn how to get recruited in basketball or football or whatever other sports they're playing.
Yeah, and
right?
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing that it's going to do is it's going to keep them rolling. Competitive golf in the winter, getting ready for the spring. I mean, that's when it matters, right? High school golf matters in the spring.
Mm-hmm. So the 15th is going to be the tournament date.
That's going to be the tournament date.
The 14th is our clinic and all of our cool stuff, lunch and all of that. You're going to feed them that
Question
day.
and answer, and we might even feed them dinner too.
Can they play a practice round on the 14th?
So what?
If they've never played there before in the afternoon or something.
What I had this when I say we're still kind of trying to play with the format here, it's really going to depend on course availability on that Saturday. But what I would like to see happen is those kids get out there and play 9 holes at least with these coaches, evaluating them, giving them some strategy, course management type instruction. That's what I'd like to see. Now, what does that look like? I mean, it's kind of going to be a game time decision as far as that's concerned. If we don't get to do that, can they play a practice round out there? Absolutely, they can. Yeah. I mean, that won't be
times or something.
Yeah, it won't be included in the the cost of the camp and the tournament. But I mean, they could book a tee time and
that's not going to break the bank out at Andrews, man. You've got very reasonable prices out there. Yep. So December the 14th and 15th, the Permian Basin Junior Open. Can't afford not to be there. We're going to have a cool clinic and everything with the college coaches on the 14th. Going to feed you lunch and then have a little afternoon gig. And then on the 15th, we get it on.
Get it on.
36 holes, ranked event. You've got to come down and do this deal.
Which is the tournament is exciting, but like to me, like it's all exciting, right? To me, and like I could sit here. I mean, I don't know how much time we got left on this podcast, but I mean, I could roll all day just talking about this because it is my heart, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And it's exciting to me, but maybe the most exciting part to me is not the tournament, but it is the golf forum and all that. Like just an overload. Bring a pen, bring some paper, write this shit down. Like that's what I say. And because you're going to need to go back to it, and we're going to cover everything that from social media, marketing yourself in that way to
Golf
tournaments,
resumes.
Yeah, golf resumes, tournaments that you need to play in, just everything that I mean, we're going to leave no stone unturned in the knowledge that I've gained. Now, that doesn't mean that there's not some other stones out there that can get turned over. Maybe I just don't know about them, or we just don't know about them. But Walt, Brad, these other, and I'm trying to get some other coaches too. Those guys know. These other kids that have been recruited and just recently gone through the recruiting process that are playing at the next level, they know some of those things too that maybe I don't know. We're going to go through all that. When I say you can't afford not to be here, you cannot afford not to be here. I mean, it's $250. It's a lot of money, no question, right? But it's cheap in comparison to the knowledge that you're going to get, the experience that you're going to get, right? Playing in a junior event, the experience you're going to get being connected with these coaches. One of the things, being able to talk to the coaches, like college coaches don't want a player that can't communicate with them, that gets so clammed up. Like they don't want, what are you going to do when all the chips are down in a tournament and we're in a high pressure situation? You're going to just lock up? This is to break the ice and make it a little more comfortable for them to connect with coaches, talk to coaches. When coaches come to show up and watch them play, hopefully they're coming and watching them play junior events, watching them play some tournaments. Then maybe it's not as nerve-wracking because they're like, oh, man, I'm him. Hey, I'm him.
So
right? I've already met this coach, or I've already talked to coaches, and like it's not so pressured up situation at that point.
So any and all are welcome.
Yep.
And where do they sign up?
Yeah, that's forthcoming, but
They can call the shop at this point, I'm guessing.
yeah, and talk.
Andrews.
Yeah, Tommy will have the information, but we will have it up on a website to enter up, and you'll want to enter up early. And shout out to Al Escamilla. Here's the other thing too. Let me shout out to Al. I called him, told him what we're doing, asked him if he would like to sponsor, and he said he would. I asked him if he'd sponsor the hats for the kids. He's absolutely. That was his answer. Absolutely. I mean, you want to talk about people that are behind junior golf, the Escamillas. I mean, and they got a bunch of kids that. I mean, they got a bunch of kids that have played at the next level, and shout out to the Escamillas too, Alan and Krista. They're kind of the one. They did the first golf forum that I ever knew of out here. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
And educated us some, and they had some people up there that educated, and I mean, and it was a great event. And but to my knowledge, this what we're doing has never been done out here. And but I mean, there again, I'm not 100% on that, but
I can't recall one at all. And you know, for those of you that are sitting there wondering, okay, well, when's this site going to be up? Who do I call? What do I do? Here's what we're going to do. The minute that website is, I guess, turned on, ready for us to get on there and enter, what we'll do is we'll put links on our stuff here at golf headquarters.
Yep.
There'll be stuff with the Andrews Country Club in Andrews, and worst case scenario, just give us a shout. You can email us. We've got on ghqmidland.com. You can get on there and you can email us. You can also just call the shop. Yeah. We'll be able to help walk you through that. But as soon as that registration information is ready to go, we'll put a link on our website. We'll put a link on our socials, and you'll be able to click on there and do your thing.
Yeah, quick
and
question.
I'd like to
we got this question. This is a co-ed event, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Boys and girls, for sure. And I'd like to come back on, next month sometime, a little prior to this, and just kind of get the buzz back out there. I don't know if that's possible, but one thing I wanted to circle back to when I was talking about Al and them, and I asked him if they'd like to sponsor. We are taking some sponsors too, and I'm not making a dime off this. I don't want to make a dime off of this. What's going to be done here is the entry fee will pay for to pay the college coaches that are going to be attending, right? Because we want to pay them for their time, because their time's important, right? And then also any money that's left after that,
This is the part that's cool,
is going to be paid out to the kids in a golf scholarship. First, second, and third in the boys division. First, second, and third in the girls division.
That's awesome.
Let's go.
JC Ramirez asks, is there an age limit here?
Yeah, 14 to 18.
14 to 18. Nice.
Yeah, and it'll just be one division.
Okay, so we're not going to split the divisions or anything.
I mean, this will be the first one. And listen, the other thing I wanted to say too is the timing of this deal is, I know, is not ideal, right? I mean, we're talking about December 14th to 15th. Who knows what the weather's going to be? It's close to Christmas. It's this, it's that, it's all those things. I get it. It has to happen sooner rather than later, because these kids are so far behind in the recruiting process. They have to know this information, and they have to start now.
They better get used to playing in
Absolutely.
conditions.
If you
Guess
played,
what?
if you played in the spring in West Texas,
Guess what?
It's cold,
It's cold.
and windy.
That's right.
And it could be
It's going to rain.
It could be 80 degrees practice round day. You know what I mean? And
That's right.
And then tournament day, 40 and blowing 40.
I will say this to JC though, Connor. If your children are younger, right, but you still want to come out and take advantage of listening to the coaches and getting the information as a parent, I would say that's fine, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, come
They
on.
need
And your
to-
intuition, that was his next question. He asked if you can attend the forum without playing. So, yes.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll
Yes.
cut you a break on the forum part,
Yeah.
but I think it's important. How old is his kid? JC, how old is your kid?
Yeah, JC, we'll wait for his response. Also, Bugelman today commented he wishes this was available 25 years ago. How great that would have been for West Texas golf.
Well, that's what we're trying
Hopefully,
to do. Now.
hopefully nobody has to ask that in 25 years, because you can keep this going. This is awesome.
I'll tell you a cool thing. Yeah, go ahead.
I want to hear your cool thing. I really do. But back to the timing is not ideal of this thing. This will change. The timing will change in the future. It'll be late spring, early summer, sometime during the summer. This thing will continue. First thing. Second thing is it will be at a more ideal time in the future. It just has to happen right now, as soon as possible. And I wanted to do it in November, and it just wouldn't work in November. And then, so that's how we're looking at December. But it's just got to happen sooner rather than later, because kids need to.
Bro, it's the perfect time
to get it, and they need to get started, and they needed to be started way prior to this.
Yeah, it's the perfect time.
But I want to hear your cool thing. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're good. The cool thing about talking to college coaches, I'll tell you a cool story that happened. And my buddy Ryan, that I mentioned at the very beginning of this, his son Abbott is a world champion in MMA.
Let's go.
Kid's 14. And when I say world, like he literally went across the pond and competed.
Waxed him.
And he's a national champion. The kid's a freak. He's a really good athlete. But one of my favorite stories, and again, this just speaks to this opportunity for these kiddos to get to talk to the coaches and learn this, because Abbott was in Las Vegas. They were in Las Vegas for an event, and they went to go eat at this steakhouse, and he looks over, and lo and behold, Dana White walks in. And he goes and sits down at the table. He starts to eat, and Abbott can't stand it. He's got to go talk to Dana. And he gets up, and he walks over to the table, and he's like, Mr. White, my name's Abbott Gist. I just wanted to introduce myself so that you could meet one of your future fighters. I'll be in the UFC one of these days. You know, and Dana was like, who the heck is this kid? I love this kid.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, they have front row seats to the UFC fight night and all that. Dana White took care of all of it. But again, that's just an example of if you can learn that skill
Early on,
man, it's such an advantage. Well, we do have to get going. But December 14th and 15th, Permian Basin Junior Open. Connor, did we get back with JC? We got all those questions answered. We're good to go there.
Got all the questions answered. Real quick before we're wrapping up, Z, you got yourself a little Sour Patch Kid. Case in Buffalo says, ain't nobody wants your autograph, but happy birthday. Roman Harper wishes you a happy birthday. So does JC Ramirez. So you're very loved. Bugleman today. I don't know what your real name is, but happy birthday, Z.
Thank you,
You're very
guys.
loved,
Yeah.
man.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, dog.
Thank you.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Did we find out JC's how old his kid is?
I haven't seen it, but I mean, he's a regular customer of ours. He has a couple of young ones. I don't think they're quite even. I think on the cusp of junior high age.
Okay.
So it'll be very good information for him to get his son going.
So, you know, in the future, as this thing continues to grow and it progresses, and we'll definitely offer some other age groups, you know. I think, you know, like a 12 to 13, probably do like 12 to 14 and 15 to 18. That will be, you know, in the future.
JC said 12 and 11.
Listen, this is what I would say. I don't want to turn any kid away, right? Like I want every kid to learn as much as they can. So if your kid is not 14, attend the golf forum and the clinic and all that, the camp.
For sure.
Like, you need to get in that. We'll make a break on that. I think we're just going to offer that just for kids that are under 14. Like if you're 14 and up and you want to get in, you need to get in all the way in. And but if you're under 14, I think you can get in the clinic, and we'll offer that at a reduced rate. And if there's just an overwhelming push for these like younger kids, like I mean, if they're just coming out of the woodwork saying, "Well, look, we want to play too. You know, we want to get in. We want to, you know," then maybe we'll offer it. But I think we need to start with the 14 to 18, and then I'm saying maybe we offer it this year too. I mean, if people start calling you guys and like, hey, what the heck, man, I got, you know, if we start getting 20, 30 kids that are, you know, 12 and 13, then maybe we offer that. You know what I'm saying? Like, just open it up. Like, I don't want to turn anybody away. I want everybody to learn this. I want them to be able to play. I mean, that's the heart. It's not this is about inclusion, and it's about growing the game. When I talk about growing the game, like it's real with me. It's my heart, right? And it's my heartburn when people talk about it and don't be about it. Like it really is. And so I really don't want to turn any kid away if that makes sense. But I think it's very important for 14 to 18. But if we have a lot of need for 12 and 13-year-olds, then we'll figure something out. And that might just be, there might not be enough of them to offer that age group in the tournament. Maybe that's just them getting in the
they've got to get in the form.
Get in the form.
Yeah.
Like
Got to.
You're going to be light years ahead of the game just by getting in the form.
100%.
Light years ahead. And so
This thing's so awesome. Has a bunch of room to grow.
it's going to be it's going to be huge. This is what I feel like. It's going to be the premier event in West Texas. Like I just really believe that. Not to take anything away from the S.A. Smith event that they have. That thing is awesome. Like my kid has played in that. Both of my kids have played in that a bunch of times. The last year we didn't get to play in it. We had something conflicting, and it's a great event. Like it's one of the premier events out here in West Texas, right? The TJ, they put on a good one at Abilene. They put one on at Green Tree this past summer. They put one on at Quicksand this past summer. And then they put one on at El Paso. And I told him, I said, that's not West Texas. That's Mexico. But I'd like to see them put one at, Andrews or Denver City or somewhere and kind of pull from that north Amarillo, Lubbock area. There's a lot of junior golfers up there that are probably in the same boat that are not getting recruited just because they don't know what they don't know.
Right.
And listen, this is not just Permian Basin. This is West Texas. You come from wherever, like, get here.
Yep.
Get here. I don't.
If you're in Montana, come on.
Get here. Get your kid in. You need to be here.
Yep.
And so the other thing that I'm talking to these high school coaches locally, I've already talked to several of them about promoting it with their own kids, their high school players from all the surrounding areas. And so we'll continue to push it from that route. Like I want you to share this, like the GH Crew podcast, subscribe. I mean, let's get that up there. Share it. If you know a kid, get it to them. Like it's that important. And if you're a parent, you can't afford not to get into this. Like this is by far the best value, the best bang for your buck for a junior tournament / golf clinic. I promise you it will be.
It's the most efficient opportunity is what it sounds like.
That's right.
Well, think about it this way: you spend $250, it could save you $250,000.
There you go.
How about that?
Make it their Christmas present.
Spend $250 and not pay for college.
That's
That'd be
right.
sick.
That's right. And that's all you're doing, right? Like when you're taking your kid and you're playing these junior tournaments and all that, it's painted on the front end, right? And to save you money on the back end when they do make it and get a scholarship, it costs you a little bit on the front end, but you're going to save a ton of it on the back end when they get that scholarship. So yeah, get involved. Hey, make it their Christmas present.
There you go.
Christmas is right around the corner. Like, make it their Christmas present.
Heck yeah. I love it. December 14th, 15th, folks. Permian Basin Junior Open, Andrews, Texas. We'll have links and so on and so forth once we get the registration website up and running, which will be very soon. Brandon will have you on again in November just to remind everybody, and then we'll also have those links active at that point, so we'll add them to the podcast at that point.
So
hang on, we got one more question here.
We got an awesome listener talking about how his son is a junior, and they're trying to get him in these ranked tournaments, and they didn't know how important it was to get in early, and just talking about how great of an opportunity it's going to be getting him going. I mean, he knows it hurt him not getting into it in his freshman year, but just that it's available now is going to be so important. Now, even though he's a junior, he's going to have, year and a half now to this point to
Heck
get
yeah.
his name in that
Yeah.
hat.
It's not too late.
It's not too late. I was just
It's not
fixing to
too
say that.
late. Let's
Not
get him
too-
in there.
It's never too late. Get
She's ready to register now.
Yeah, get involved.
Awesome.
Hey, the link and all that stuff will be up like in a week. We'll get it up in a week, and it's good. I mean, listen, it's
So
going to be
again,
awesome.
they can call Andrews.
Yeah, you can call me. You can just if
all the info in a post.
yeah,
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
We'll put all the info in a post here in a minute.
you can call me. You can call Andrews County Golf Course and talk to Tommy, because Tommy's been highly involved in getting this thing pulled together too. Call up here, talk to Z, talk to Jared, talk to anybody. Like they'll get you in the right direction, point you in the right direction. Call me, hit me up. I mean, I don't know. Just get in touch with somebody. Like, figure it out.
I love it.
Dig it out. Like that's what you got to do. But who was that
GGCL 2011.
Nobody.
We're
Let's
working
go
off a username.
GGCL 2011.
GCL 2011. I love it.
Hey, I like the comment, but yeah, seriously, it's
I think that was their fear, that they worried they were too late. But
you're not too late.
Not too late.
You're never too late, man. But
Especially because we're going to have college coaches there.
right.
So-
but when you think you're too late, that's when you got to press in even harder and like really, it's going to require a lot more work at that point. I guess I would say, it's just you're going to have to be more diligent. The later you start in this process, the more diligent you're going to have to be, and just more aggressive that you're going to have to be. And that's just the long and short of that deal.
Well, and the resumes and stuff will speak for themselves, and just getting as many ranked events as you can over the next 2 years.
You
will
got
help
to
a
get
ton,
4
and play
in
a
a
bunch
12.
in the summer.
You got to play in 4 in a 12-month period just to get a junior golf scoreboard ranking. Like that's the thing that these people that they don't know, right?
Yeah.
We didn't know.
I didn't know that.
And so here's the thing. You can start the recruiting process today. Z sends coach whoever a resume, right? Swing video, all this. What's the first thing that coach is going to do?
What's your ranking?
He's going to go look at your ranking. When he pulls your name up and he doesn't find you on there, he's gonna be like, who is this?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's that important. And also I will say this, as much as the one-day NTPGA tournaments, like, they still hold some value, but nowhere near as much value as a 36-hole ranked event. If you're winning those, like, there's a progression here of tournaments that you need to play, and we'll go through that too there. But, like, it needs to start local, then it needs to be regional, then it needs, so on and so forth. And once you're doing well at the local level, then it's time to step up and go to the next level, right? And listen, one thing that we did with Sis is early on was we went to some tournaments that, man, I mean, she was doing well in the NTPGAs here, and she was doing well in the middle school. And so I was like, all right, here we go. Let's go. So we go to the Texas Junior Amateur. This is between our 8th grade and freshman year that summer. And I'm like, I tell her ahead of time, I said, listen, we're going to go. It's in Houston at Club of Kingwood. That place is amazing, right? I tell her we're going to go. Anytime we go to a tournament, we're going to win. But the expectation is, we're going to get the experience, and we're going to go test our chili, right? See what we got. It was eye-opening, to get down there. And it was a different level, right, of the girls that she played with. One that she was paired with the first day, she's a freshman at playing at ACU right now. But anyway, and then the second day we're paired with this kid. She's got a swing coach, she's got a nutrition coach, she's got a mental coach, she's got a strength and conditioning coach. And I'm like, what? I mean, she's 13 years old.
Dang.
Eye-opening. And it was
Dang.
at that point that I was like, we're behind right here, right? Like, sis had a swing coach, and then she had dad that was mental coach, that was there was no strength and conditioning. I wish I could say there was, but there was not, right? But nutrition coach, mental coach, maybe not a great mental coach, but you know what I'm saying? Like, anyway, like just eye-opening, but it was important. This is what I brought all this up to say, to get out of West Texas. You know, she was winning out here, like, and to go experience not winning every tournament, right? And learning how to, I guess maybe learning how to not win, and then also playing against the best competition that you can. And what that did for her was opened her eyes and said, whoa, there's golf outside of West Texas, and it's tough, and everybody's good, and caused her to come back and go to work, right, and put in the extra work. And so it's important to get out of West Texas too. I'm trying to get more events out here, ranked events out here, for your kid to play in ranked events, but it's important also to mix in some in South, or, you know, going to San Antonio, Austin, Houston, if you can make it up that way, or going to the DFW area if you can make it up that way. It's important to mix a few of those in, because the competition's different, and you're going to play those courses translate to the next level. You're going to be playing some courses that you'll be seeing at the next level, and so it's important that in that aspect too. But even if you can't go to the DFW or go south a bunch, mix one or two in the summer. You know what I mean? There's going to be hopefully there's going to be enough out here, 36-hole ranked events in West Texas, that you don't have to go all the time, but it's worth mixing a few of them in, and you're going to play against tougher fields that way. I mean, you want to talk about a hotbed for junior golf, San Antonio.
Yeah.
No question. It's tough up there.
Oh yeah, just all these different places, got a bunch of courses, competitive programs.
Yep.
We figured out who that listener was, Gilbert Lujan. So Z,
Okay.
we'll get in touch with them, Gilbert Lujan Jr. and MHS. So we'll get you in some of that information. Z will get you set up. Thank you guys so much for listening today.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah.
I'm glad you guys tuned in. I look forward to seeing you and your kid at the event. I think it's going to be a great event. I think there's a lot to learn,
Heck yeah.
and it's going to be great. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun. We're going to make this thing fun. We're going to make it exciting, and it's going to be the greatest event in West Texas for a junior golfer. It just is.
Well, once again, December 14th, 15th, Permian Basin Junior Open, Andrews, Texas. We'll get all that information up here very, very soon. Thank you all for listening today, and I hope that was informative. And Brandon, thanks for coming on, bro.
Thanks for having me, guys.
We'll get you on again in next month so we can do it again. Don't forget to share, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Go to the YouTube channel, GHQ Crew, on the YouTube, right? And
I heard you guys are giving
subscribe to that Mamma Jamma. We just gave away some cool stuff. Once we get to 2,000, we're going to do something really awesome.
So like and subscribe there.
Yep. Thank you all again, and we'll see you next time.